Well, hello everybody. It's time for Tarot for Our Times, and I understand that there was a big powwow between MuskRat, FOTUS, and the cabinet, and I think a little bit of Congress thrown in there. It seems as though the MuskRat has been let know that he's been really overstepping his duties, and that the cabinet members are getting restless because they feel that's their job to hire and fire. So, and also Congress is getting, even the MAGA people in Congress are getting restless because they hold the money strings and he has stepped into their character. Now, I have said in the past that there's going to be a falling out that with those two egos, those two humongo egos. This is just someone's going to throw somebody under the bus. I'm pretty much thinking that this may be a build up to this, but what I'm so we're so this is the theme of this is the lovers in reverse. Now the lovers in reverse is quite the opposite. They are breaking up, separating, but they're the kind that break up, they get back together, they break up, they get back together. And it's kind of like a really dysfunctional relationship. One will beat one up and the other will beat the other up. They'll apologize, they'll move out, they'll move in. Um, Not quite seeing this yet, which is the Four of Rods in reverse. I always look at this in relationships as the divorce card. For engaged people, like, nah, that marriage isn't going to happen, but it is really breaking up. And I look at this as maybe a little bit more permanent than this, even though this is this is major arcana and the Four of Wands is the minor arcana. But that's just the way I see that. So let me see. So yes, I pretty much covered that. So I think there were some heated words exchanged, and it looks as though things may be cooling off a bit. So I want to see. I'm going to put these back since I'm going to use them. So I'm going to see if where is that relationship with the Muskrat and Leon Muskrat, and I think the cabinet and the Congress, their resentment kind of goes hand in hand because it's all about taking the power away, and it's in different ways. With the Congress, it's the purse strings, and that's been kind of their big power thing about being in the lower house with the shorter terms, is that that's the big power they have. It's the money. Every school child in the United States has learned, and it's almost like you could sing a song to it. All appropriation bills begin in the house. I think our ninth grade civics teacher, all appropriation bills begin in the house, and he has been taking that away from them. And so I figured eventually, I've been waiting. Of course, with everything going so fast, with less than just only a bit under 2 months of this, you kind of wonder, well, where have they been, and all that sort of thing. Actually, this is happening pretty fast. It just seems like he's been in office for years and years and years now. So first, we're going to see what their relationship, and is there a future in this relationship? Is it going to go on? I'm pretty much thinking that it's going to be a back and forth until there's a really dramatic falling out, which, nothing is going to repair that. That's really hard to say. Although things are moving so fast, it may be sooner than we think. So, first I'm going to do the reading on his relationship with the cabinet and Congress. What's going on? We saw one thing, and I don't know if I was watching Adam Mokler, who's kind of part of the Midas Touch gang. This kid is so young, but he's so bright. He's amazing. He knows what questions to ask these people. So I don't know if it was something from his sources or whatever, but it's all very interesting. So let's see what the cards have to say about this. Okay. So we have here, oh boy, isn't it always? This is about the money. And although the cabinet played more prominently in this complaining, I think that the real crux of the matter is Congress with the purse strings and the budget and everything. And this is telling me that people have been stepping on each other's toes. It's not like the Republicans in Congress give a flying fart about, their working class people or the constituents. All they care about is the money and the donations. So that's what the Ace of Pentacles is saying, that the underlying thing was like money is power, power is money. That's why the cabinet and the Congress are very much together in that one goal. So I guess they figured, hey, why don't we just join forces and just gang up on him? Okay, so then the energy we have is, the High Priestess. This tells me that they may be learning each other's secrets, that there are some deep, dark ones that I think would make an unbelievable movie if anybody ever found, like, no, that is not possible. Well, yes, it is possible. So we've got the High Priestess as the overriding energy of this. So let's see what's beneath all of this, that this has finally come to the surface or leaked out. Oh, yes. The truths have been waiting to come out. That's what's going on here. Then we have everybody's, they're out for themselves. They're using whatever abilities they have, not for the higher or the better, with the Magician in reverse, but for their own selfish purposes. When this guy is upright, he's using all of these things. There's all the elements of the tarot right in this thing, with the wand reaching heavenward. But no, this is a very low vibration kind of a guy here, and very accomplished, but just not using his abilities in the right way. Ooh. Okay, what this is telling me is that underneath all of this stuff is that things have just been jammed up, not much happening. Congress hasn't passed any legislation to speak of in a couple of months, and that's kind of what we hired them to do. And government functions have stopped because of all these people getting fired. Airplanes are falling out of the sky because of people getting fired. So I think there's a real big movement here to regroup, because he's not doing what they hired him to do. Let's face it. So opposing this is the Two of Pentacles in reverse. which says because of him, he's out to balance the budget, but that's not what's happening at all. I'm I gather that everybody thought that that he was so wonderful. In fact, I get the impression that they're still they're publicly saying that he's the greatest thing, but now that's kind of falling apart. And this also tells me there's something about this that may screw up the budget. And I think the orange one is going after a continued resolution. So here we go till September. So here we go. Um, he has to have been seeing these town halls. And the energy behind all these town halls with these irate Republicans is what the Muskrat has been doing. And I'm starting to get the picture that, Mr. Felon, he doesn't, he really doesn't want to get people hating on him. That's the whole thing. So this would explain the walking back and all of this sort of thing. So it looks like right now they're not loving him too much. It's kind of like, well, he was kind of a cool date at first, but now he's kind of, I don't know. So then we have their conscious thoughts. Conscious thoughts is the fire has gone out. We no longer literally carry the torch for him. He served his purpose for a little bit, but now we've really kind of cooled off towards him. So this is the conscious thought, and subconsciously, as much as they like to go about saying, I have a mandate, I have a plan, I have a program, they do not know what the hell is going on. They cannot. What this looks like is they can't make up their mind about him. I mean, it's running hot and cold, which could be a reflection on the bromance. So what they need is their big orange god to tell them, is he in, is he out? And so today, their big orange dude was kind of turning on him. And so subconsciously, they're just going with, because I don't think they know what to make of this. So they kind of wait for their master's voice, but it's deep down inside them. Like 1 minute they may think, oh, it's really great the way he's just tearing up, and then they hear from their constituents, well, maybe not so much. And this is where this very big inner struggle is going on. So let's see. In the past, we have the Page of Wands. And here we have, it's interesting because the Muskrat has been coming up as the King of Wands in certain contexts. Now he's the Page of Wands in reverse. This is a very volatile, and he's just like frying. Yeah, literally, we have the wands. He's been frying his brains on ketamine. Oh, by the way, for entertainment purposes only, he has been frying his brains on the ketamine, and whatever little spark he had, he's an annoyance. He's no longer inspiring them. Oh, I have to interrupt this just a minute, because if I don't, I'll probably forget it, because I've been meaning to say this the last couple times. For the next day or so, I'm doing a psychic fair. It's in Pittsburgh. It's in Penn Hills at the Comfort Inn on Rodi Road. I might as well put in a plug for that. But more important than that is that I'm not going to be doing these probably for the next couple of days. I won't be doing them. So this would be going, you'll see this on Saturday morning, but Sunday morning and possibly Monday morning, I'll be more fried than this little bugger here. So I will be taking a couple days off and doing a live on Wednesday, and I'll try to remember not to delete it accidentally after I'm finished. That was brilliant of me, I have to say. Okay, getting back to this now. Right now we have the High Priestess in reverse. This is all the dark, hidden, whatever. She's a mess. Let's just say, in reverse, she's a mess. This is just all the deep, dark secrets that everybody is finding out. Probably a lot about him. And it's fairly public. Like, he had a 14th kid. His baby mamas have been saying the kids need to go to the doctor. He could care less unless he wants to use one of them as a human shield. What a father he is. So they're finding the deep darks about him. And I guess because of FOTUS, he's probably been fed a lot of dirt about them. So they're in a very similar relationship. But I'm guessing that FOTUS is looking at him as maybe the canary in the coal mine, that he may be really more trouble than he's worth. So, but he's beholden. The money and the cheating, and they know they're both douchebags, and they know the extent of their douchebaggery. I think the cabinet and the legislature, they're kind of catching on to. So it's like this big one-upsmanship kind of a deal. So that's a big mess. That doesn't talk about this great cooperation that they're going to be doing. In fact, I'm seeing a lot. I look at all this, whoa, hostility. Oh my God. Okay, so what's going to be happening, say, in the immediate future? I want to give it like the next few days, and we have, what do you know? We got the Lovers in reverse, our theme card of the day. They're just not into him that much anymore. They really, but see, the stocky quality about this card in reverse is that they don't trust each other. So they're going to be like stalking each other and checking up on each other and spying and all kinds of subterfuge. And it's that toxic relationship that they really want to break up, but there's too much at stake for them to break up. And this is kind of this is what they're going to take into consideration. Let's see a little further out. We have the World. I thought it might be the World in reverse, but no, it's the World. This is telling me a lot of them are done with him. They figure he's served his purpose a little bit too much. We're pretty much done with him. And since there's a lot of figures in this particular card, it's not like the Lovers, which might be more to the two presidents, the two presidentes. That might be more, now that I'm looking at that, might be more of that. This is more of like all the different players, some cabinet people, congressional people, all of this stuff. So collectively, behind closed doors, they're pretty much done. They're pretty much done. The best they can, I would say at this point, the best they can do is just to keep their mouths shut and not defend him or not tear him down publicly. But they're done. Put a fork in them. They're done. I wasn't expecting that because I thought, it'll be the same thing. But no, they're pretty much done. So what do we have in the hopes and the fears? The hopes and the fears. The Eight of Pentacles. Well, the hope with these numbers of people is that he'll be gone, but the fear is, with this being in a reverse, is that he may take his money with him. Now, that's the thing, is that he's been financing them, but I'm telling you, I think what they're realizing, I realized this before they did, you can dump a whole bunch of money on a candidate, but if people are pissed off enough, you can have TV commercials up the wazoo and everything. When people are done, they are done. And that may be very encouraging, because people who he's threatened to primary, they may say, go ahead and try it. That everybody hates you. If I say I hate you and I'm a conservative, but you went too far, guess what? They're going to vote for me. I think that this is talking about they're waking up to the more power that they have. I think this is what's happening, is that they're not so afraid of him now. There's that whole thing with him and the orange dude here. So I would say they might be kind of stuck, although he is asserting himself with him. It's almost kind of like looking at it in a dating thing. It's sort of like between the two of them. If you don't stop that, you're not getting any tonight. You're not getting you won't get any for the week. And I may throw you out of the house for a while. With them, they're saying, we're breaking up. We'll be discreet, because we're still, tied. We're still MAGA tied, but we're done with you. I think this is a whole different thing, which I'm surprised. I really thought it was going to be kind of like the same thing. So, the outcome of this, which I guess is getting pretty obvious, the outcome is the Star. And what the Star tells me is that the cabinet people and the congressional people are saying, oh, well, I want to go out and be a star now. He's been hogging the spotlight. This is also FOTUS too. Now, this is where they do have the agreement that's, different from this dynamic I just described. Yeah, they now have the whole thing like this is a very ego-driven thing. We want to be stars, and we're tired of this South African dude hogging up the spotlight. So that's where they're on the same page as Hogarth calls him, Duck L'Orange. So they're that's the one thing they have in common, are their big bloated egos. And I know that old Ducky Poo is just, he's just about had it. He's just like ready to blow his top, because this guy's been stealing his thunder. Then there is that thing with the kid and the desk and the boogers and the stealing the spotlight and the humiliation. This could be catching up with it. So, okay, so today, the great leader could sympathize with all these cabinet people, because he knows what it's like to have the spotlight stolen and the jobs, and getting all the credit for ruining everything, or not, or whatever those people on the way right think. So, what we can learn from this is getting scary. Okay. Knight of Pentacles. This whole thing is what we don't want to be. This is really what we don't want to be. This guy, he's not the star. He's the hard-working guy. He's on the big workhorse. He's going fairly. There's a little bit more life in this one than the rider deck. But he's the loyal knight. He's going forward. He's going slowly because he's detail oriented, and the tortoise always beats the hare, and he knows it. So what we can learn from them is like, just move along, push along, do whatever you're doing, knowing that they're all destroying each other. They are destroying each other, and you can just ride on by it. And if there is an end to this administration, it's really going to be about watching this fighting faction, and the fact that the two main players will be pretty much at it with each other of, this fighting and getting back together, and the sex will be good for a little bit, and, that and all the drama. It makes it so much more exciting and all of this nonsense. While the rest of the players say, we want our attention too. And well, he's taking our jobs away from us, and our constituents hate us now. Yeah, that's what's going on. So, so this is a mess, and it's happening fast. I'd say keep it coming, because, it's almost like tearing a Band-Aid. Is like the worse they get, maybe the sooner this whole thing will be over. I don't know. It's like, I don't know, but this certainly is not making a strong coalition. It's when, I can relate this to being in plays and that sort of thing, whether it was college or community theater. The show is always the best when everybody worked together, but then you're in the nature of the beast in the theater is ego and talent and this and that, and it's, so when I've been in productions where everybody is at each other, and the fact that you even get it to opening night, having it with everybody just getting through it is one thing, and it might be good, but it's not going to be spectacular, and you're not going to have a long run. So I do look at this like the egotists in the theater, who if they would set that aside, cooperate, and build each other up and work together, you get a nicer thing. This is the same thing. We live in a Hollywood world here in the U.S. So, what do I want to see? Is there a future? What kind of a future is this? Is coming to all of this? What is going to be the result of all of this? This sort of thing. I mean, he just can't go out and get a whole new cabinet overnight. There has to be some give and take. He can't have his whole cabinet just ready to kill this guy without him doing anything. So he can, I think maybe he wants to get to be the hero and all of that. So what is the future with all of this nonsense going on? Let's see, what kind of a future, what's going to come of this? I think that's what I want to say more, is what's going to come of this. So let's see here. Okay. The main card here is, it's getting overwhelming. It's for all people concerned. It's I would say this is really not a king figure. This is a cabinet, congressman, all of that nonsense, and there's just too much. It's I think what's come to a head is like, you've got town hall here, people seeing them on the street and hating them there, fighting with each other here. The Muskrat and Leon Muskrat and his merry man band of little boys. It's too much. It's just too much. It's too much trying to hold them back. Whether they're in the cabinet or the House, it's maybe a few in the Senate too. So let's see, what's the energy? Oh, death. It's death. It's just got to end. It just has to end. This is not sustainable. So it could get back to, it could be with the cabinet. I don't know what happened, but it could be that the cabinet could use, it's either him or us. And if it's him, go get yourself a new cabinet. That's that's it. If we cannot hire and fire our own people, what is the point? So underlying this, we have this sad dude feeling like we're running out of options, and see this one coming towards us? That's not so hot either. Okay. And it's been like that for a while. Then, and it's the lies. It's getting hard to keep our lies straight. We've got Duck L'Orange on one hand, and the muskrats telling another story. Then we all have to tell lies, and then it's getting confusing trying to remember our lies. This is getting too hard. And but we're going to hang on to the arguing points because we need to do so publicly. But we're going to hang on to, at the same time, we're also going to hang on to what we were hired to do. And they're not going to let go of that. So, in opposition to all of this is the Queen of Wands in reverse. Oh, I know who that is. Okay. Yeah, the people in Congress have all that to deal with, but then they have those harpy bimbos like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert, who are they're getting in the mix of this. Those are the Muskrat supporters. I highly suspect they're the. It's interesting because, as I've said so many times, that in these readings, royalty of Wands in reverse means unfaithful. So those two women, yep. Need I say more? Okay. So that is, yeah, they have that thing to deal with as well. And that is going to literally be opposing them. The MAGA, and it's within the MAGA conference itself, is that it's not just the Republicans against the MAGAs, it's the MAGAs themselves that are this faction of it that's going with, we don't want anything to do with this anymore. So, conscious thoughts. So, let's just go back to the past when everything was just so wonderful. It was so wonderful before he came here, and we got to be that's a big thing. They got to be the bullies. Now they've got a bigger bully and they cannot handle it. So, okay, so that makes a lot of, we want to go back to the way it was before when we were the most obnoxious ones, okay? But got some holdouts there, yep, with the Queen of Wands, and they're nasty. You know, when that poor guy, Al Green, got censured, everybody harkened back to a couple years ago when they were screaming like hyenas. And they didn't get censured. Okay, so, subconscious thoughts. Chained to the devil. We may be done with him, but if he goes and buys flowers and candy and kisses and makes up with the muskrat, if he does that, it's to fill his own agenda, and it's probably to lead him, give him a false sense of security. But these people are saying, wow, we're chained to this because we're chained to him. So this is going to be a problem. This is going to be a problem with them. And this is very much on the subconscious. They like to think they're not chained to the devil. And this isn't even the hot devil either. They're chained to the ugly orange devil. So that's kind of like the subconscious thing about this. And then let's see. In the past, we have walking away from this. What this tells me is that they're starting to walk away from this emotionally. Now, and whatever happened today in the Oval Office or wherever that meeting took place, that was all of that coming to the surface. They are done. And we got Mr. Full Moon lunar eclipse coming up in, let's see, in a week. In about a week, a little less, give or take. But we've got all of that emotion going on, and I would say I'm feeling the energy building up. So this could be, usually they say, like 5 days, the bartender thing is 5 days before, during, and 5 days after. This one is so strong with the eclipse that it's more than likely the energy is about a week. Give it a couple more days. It's a week out. So this is kind of a full, a pre-full moon. Oh, when the moon is full, that's going to be really interesting. That's going to be really fasten your seatbelt time, because they're already starting up with this. So presently, they're just, as long as this fight goes on and they feel as though they can't hire and fire or control the money, they're not going anyplace. Now, I guess the one good thing about this is that, they're just going to be trying to pass bullshit anyway that's horrible. So maybe this is a silver lining. But we need to get other things passed. That's the only problem. So in the more, as we come up on, as we get to full moon time. Okay. Oh, the Knight of Cups. I would say there's going to be a kind of a phony public reconciliation, because this is making them all look really stupid and bad, because just the other day they were talking about how wonderful the muskrat is, and now it's leaking like a sieve that they don't think he's so wonderful. So that's the message of the Knight of Cups. And this is really, look at all these cups. Holy cow. Cups, pentacles, and the devil. It's like, it's about money, and now their emotions are getting tied in with this thing too. So let's see, a little bit further down the line, we have oh, this is interesting. I think I'm not doing this, they're taking the rest to reflect. This is someone's going to go. Someone's going to go. It's quite possible in the next, weeks or months or whatever, there could be a sacrificial lamb at the cabinet. That one will have to go. One will really be vocal, and they will be the scapegoat for this. Okay, so hopes and fear time is, and I mentioned this before, is the hope and the fear is that, at least because there's such external people anyway, whether it's cabinet people or MAGAs, I think they're very afraid of the public finding out they're getting a divorce. This is not the unity, and this is the breaking of deal. Well, they're big on breaking deals, and it's all a business proposition. And this card does represent the breaking up of business negotiations and partnerships and all this sort of thing. So the hope is that, not that they're going to get back together. The hope is that they can hide this from the public, but the fear is, I don't think so. It's dripping out there. But it's not surprising. So, the outcome of this is it is the Queen of Cups. They're really reflecting about where they stand in all of this, and I would take this cup to mean that she's not opening, the lid is not opening up because they're afraid of it's like a Pandora's box. It's the Pandora, that pop comes up and God only knows what's going to come out. So they're doing this exterior kind of thing. Okay. So they're contemplating it, but they don't want to let it all out of the bag because it's going to make them look bad. So I think what this is telling me is that there will be lip service given to this until they can come up with something, and that someone will be sacrificed, and maybe someone in Congress, although they cannot afford to lose any Republicans, especially since there might be a Democrat or two in the upcoming elections, which could be interesting. I thought it looked hopeless. It doesn't look that hopeless. So, okay, so the lesson to be learned from this is, here we are. Here we are, one thing after another, and we have had to patch ourselves up and go on to fight another day. It looks like take your vitamins, because we're still going to have to do this, because even though they're pretty much done with him, that doesn't mean that the drama's over. And we really do need to keep getting up and moving on, because a tactic is that they may be trying to wear us down. But the good news is that they're wearing themselves down. So maybe instead of us getting too tired, maybe just sit back and watch them try to patch it up and come back, because there's only so many times they can do that too. They really are going to wear. Now this hasn't, usually when this is in reverse, it's like, okay, I'm done trying to fight. I retreat. But it hasn't come to that yet. So this is, I'm looking at this, it will, I think. This may be more of us as like, we've got to be resilient. Resilient, maybe take an attitude of saying, well, maybe we can find this kind of entertaining in a way, because they can't hide their feelings. They're not good. The MAGA folks are really not good at hiding their feelings. So I think what this is saying is that the two main players, and here they are. Okay, the two main players, they're going to fight, they're going to break up and say, I'm really sorry, and I'm not, and all this sort of thing. And I think the muskrat is going to have to, I think he's going to, I'm seeing a lot, he's going to have to tone it down, because he needs the felon as much as the felon needs him. So it is a sicko thing. The rest of the players they're getting to the point where they're pretty much done, that there really is not a future. So I want to pull just a couple cards to see, will he be making an exit, a timely exit? So let's see. Will he be making an exit? Devil in reverse. Things are going to have to get... Devil in reverse is saying, if you thought the devil was bad, this is the devil on steroids. Things will have to get worse. And it's interesting, because this is the dark side of the Lovers card. They're practically in the same pose, and they're in the same position. So this is like the really upright reverse, just like the toxic lovers. So that they're going to have to see a lot more of that. And oh boy, and the moon, if the players the cabinet and the congressional MAGA people, if they get crazy enough, they may be ganging up and saying he's got to go. So, I think I'm going to do one from here now. Okay. Yep, not celebrating what they thought was victory in the Three of Cups. It's reversed, and Cups reversed they're not only sad, but, I think that this is also his, this is interesting. Okay, the spirit team just gave me a big hit. These are the women in his life that they may be giving. This is the outside thing. I hadn't thought of this. These women are so unhappy that the baby mamas and the ex-wives and all of this stuff, they are so unhappy with him that he may be really, really pressured, and there could be some legal stuff they're going to do again, because they're going to get to what this is saying. They're unhappy. They're going to get together. So we have the government forces and the pressure being put on him, maybe that they'll get evil enough in the moon to maybe threaten his, because he does all these criminal things, that they're going to threaten his criminal things, and the devil has some nasty stuff to come up with. I think the T-Man would probably like to see him gone. He'd like to have his money stay, but he'd like to see him gone. It could be the women. It could be the women in his life. See, I wouldn't have thought of that on my own without the cards and the guides and all of that stuff. Could be the women. They could be pulling him back or else. So he could be gone. I don't know how soon, but it won't be for years. I'm looking more in terms of weeks and months rather than even a year. Could be wrong. It's for entertainment purposes only. So on that one, I'm going to say goodbye for now, and I will see you in a couple of days. Bye.